Hello, everybody. Welcome to my head. How's everybody doing this morning? How y'all doing this morning? Everybody half awake like me? Everybody half awake like me? How was your Thanksgiving, everybody? How was your Thanksgiving? Who here is Canadian? Who's American? We're gonna get started today because a lot of you, hey Michelle, sweetie, hello Diana, Tammy, Gypsy Ray, Denise. I'm gonna just say Gypsy Rose. Sorry, not Gypsy Ray. Valentatia, or Valence. Sorry, it's too much tongue twisting in my brain so early in the morning. Okay, everybody. So we're going to talk about. I've been doing some research on the trafficking, and a lot of you guys have asked me in my visions because it's true. It is very true that my visions has the kids being taken, but something goes wrong, and I have not had a vision over what goes wrong, except to say, which I did tell you guys before, and I did tell the officer that I was speaking to about my visions, that I felt the energy of the person that they were handed to was possibly a pedophile. That I did feel the energy of this person trying to resist their inner urges. Welcome in, Tammy from Michigan. Um, so I thought I would do a deep dive, and as it turns out, I changed the book I'm writing about trafficking. Um, I didn't realize it was so bad in Canada. I did not realize it was this bad in Canada. So, um, we're gonna look at that. Now, I had a bunch of videos prepared to watch. We're gonna watch some, but a lot of these videos are documentaries on YouTube that I cannot show without being stricken down. So we're gonna show the ones that I can. But if you wanna just simply Google search in the search bar in YouTube trafficking rings, oh boy, it's scary. It's pretty scary. So let's get into let's get into a couple of videos and then I'll read some reports. Just because I know reports can be a little dry. Liane, can I? Yes, of course. Yes, it is, sweetie. Yes, it is. Illuminate with Liane at gmail.com, Michelle. Absolutely. And if you want to jump up here and talk about it, feel free too. I can send you a link. Michelle. So it's illuminate with Liane. Yeah. Liane at gmail.com. Okay, ladies. So yes, I see the mod squad's sleeping in. But let's look at, well, here, let me just do this first, okay? I got some government reports in Canada. Okay, let's update this. Let's update this. I wanted to show you what I found. It's pretty, yeah. So here's a report. Let's go through this report. And we can talk about it. Trafficking persons in Canada. This is a report that was written, obviously, as you can see, in 2023. In 2023. So really not that long ago. Let me just pull it up on my desktop because it's too far away for me to read. So, is it possible? A lot of people have also commented on my videos and my streams who are local that there is a trafficking issue locally. So maybe there was an undertaking to potentially remove the kids, and then maybe something happened after they were removed, right? Potentially. It's very similar to Nova Scotia, Old Main, is it? Okay. So let me hang on, I'm just trying to find this report. I managed to upload it, and now I can't seem to find it in my desktop. Do, 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 do. Hang on, it's in my email. Let me pull it up that way. Let me pull it up that way. Okay. Okay, so in 2023, 570. So this was released Eastern Canada time in the Daily on Friday, November 1st, 2024. So just over a year ago, in 2023, 570 human trafficking incidences were reported to police, a slight decrease from 597, which were reported in 2022. There was also a decrease in the rate of human trafficking, 1.4 incidents per 100,000 of the population in 2023 compared to 1.5 in 2022. Human trafficking is also referred to as trafficking in persons is a serious human rights violation that can occur domestically and transnationally with the crossing of international borders. It is a gendered crime, with most detected victims being women and girls, and the majority of accused persons being men and boys. Human trafficking offenses involve the recruitment, transportation, or harboring of a person, and they include controlling and influencing the movements with the goal of exploitation or felicitating the exploitation of a person. Human trafficking can take on many forms, most often sexual exploitation or forced labor. You wouldn't think that that would apply to these young kids, but we're looking at all possibilities in this case. Often, statistics, while important, provide only a partial picture of human trafficking in Canada due to its hidden and underreported nature. So there we go. Hidden and underreported. Identifying incidents of human trafficking depends in part on police resources and expertise, as well as victims' ability to recognize and report their experiences with trafficking. There was a general increase in the number of police reported human trafficking incidences since 2013, with just over 4,500 incidences of human trafficking were reported by police services in Canada from 2013 to 2023. So 45 in 10 years, 4,500. So about an average of 450 a year. These incidents accounted for 0.02% of all police reported crime during this period. So in other words, the reporting is probably much lower than the actual incidents of trafficking, right? So these incidents accounted for 0.02% of all police reported crime during this period and represented an average annual rate of 1.1 incidents per 100,000 population. Overall, there has been a general year-over-year increase in the number of police reported incidences of human trafficking from 2013 to 2023, with the biggest jump occurring from 2018 to 2029. So, yeah. So there we go. There's a chart. Rates of human trafficking in Nova Scotia and Ontario higher than the national average. Wow. If Moose, thank you. Welcome for being here. If they were trafficked, I'm not sure they were, but if it was close by choice, I think, not random. Daniel said Malaya did not want them. She only wanted Meadow. That was the very first day. Yeah, I mean, it's true. I'm not sure we can totally agree with what Daniel has to say, however, assuming we trust Daniel's words, and I don't. I don't. Um, but yeah, I mean, anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. So here's the chart that we were looking at. And at the bottom of the chart here, I'll let you look at it. It says the chart for a second. Since the rates of human trafficking in Nova Scotia and Ontario are higher than the national average, that's of concern since these children are from Nova Scotia. Since 2013, the highest average annual rates of police reported human trafficking amongst the provinces generally have been documented in Nova Scotia and Ontario. In 2023, Nova Scotia recorded 6.3 incidents per 100,000 population, and Ontario recorded 2.1, both well above the national average of 1.4. Okay, so the average is 1.4 per 100,000 people are victims of trafficking in Canada. The average nationally is 1.4, and they in Nova Scotia have an average of 6.3. I mean, that's 5 times the national average of trafficking incidences that occur out of Nova Scotia. 5 times the national average. That is concerning with respect to these children. The high concentration of urban areas and the accessibility and large numbers and land border crossings in Ontario may explain the higher rates of human trafficking in the province. In Nova Scotia, the rate of human trafficking may be better explained by geographic location. Previous research from advocates and police investigations suggests that Nova Scotia in general and Halifax in particular are part of a trafficking corridor frequently used to move victims from Atlantic Canada to the rest of the country. Well, Halifax, if we Google Halifax, the distance, let's just Google. I'm just going to Google. I think Halifax is less than an hour to 1407 Gairloch Road. 1 hour and 33 minutes. I'll just show you this quickly, just so you know. An hour and a half from Gairloch Road to Halifax. Now, that's assuming they went to Halifax, but this is what the trafficking is showing us, that there are more incidences coming out of Halifax, but it's an hour and 33 minutes away. So could somebody have made that drive? Heck to the yes. So, large majority of police reported human trafficking incidents reported in urban centers. In 2023, the large majority, 85% of human trafficking incidences were reported in census metropolitan areas. Similarly, from 2013 to 2023, more than 8 in 10 incidents of human trafficking, 86 were reported to the police in the CMAs. From 2013 to 2023, 5 CMAs accounted for almost half, 45% of all police reported incidents of human trafficking in Canada. Toronto had 902 incidents, which are 20% of all the incidents in Canada. I mean, this is where I grew up. Ottawa, 388, 9%. Halifax, 286, 6%. Montreal, well, this is concerning, 6%, 264. So that's Montreal. The reason that's concerning is the numbers in Halifax are the same as Montreal, and Montreal is likely 2 to 3 times the size of Halifax, if I was to guess. London is at 202 incidents with 4% of the national average. It's important to note that police reported data do not capture victim mobility. That is, victims may have been trafficked from one area to another. In addition, The data could reflect police practices and resources aimed at better identifying human trafficking incidents, which can vary from one jurisdiction to another. So, mass majority of police reported victims of human trafficking are women and girls, and about 1/4 of victims are minors. So, about a third are young minors of all the trafficking. Of the 3,558 victims of police reported human trafficking nationwide from 2013 to 2023, the vast majority, 93%, were women and girls, and about 1/4, 23%, were children and youth younger than 18. A small number of victims, 7%, were men and boys. Wild, 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 wild. Is this surprising, you guys? Is this surprising? It surprises me. During this time, the larger proportion of victims were aged 18 to 24, while over 1 in 5 victims, 23, were aged 25 to 34. Of the 3,223 women and girl victims of human trafficking, 2/3, 68%, were aged 24 years and younger. Almost 9 in 10 men and boy victims, 88%, were 18 years and older. Since 2013, a large majority, 91% of the victims of police reported human trafficking have known their accused trafficker. Let me repeat that. Since 2013, a large majority, 91% of victims of police reported human trafficking have known their accused trafficker, while a small proportion, 9% of victims, have been trafficked by a stranger. So 91% are trafficked by somebody they know. Like, wild. That is scary. I would have thought strangers would have been bigger. So that's concerning. Victims were most often trafficked by an intimate partner, 34%, or casual acquaintance, 22%. A tactic employed by some traffickers involves drawing a potential victim into a romantic relationship with promises of love and affection with the end goal of exploitation. Men make up the majority of accused adults, while an equal proportion of girls and boys are among youth accused. Overall, 2,697 persons were accused of police reporting trafficking in Canada from the 2013 to 2023 period. The majority of accused persons were aged 18 to 24 and 25 to 34. Similar proportions of accused were aged 35 to 44 and 45 and older, while youth aged 12 to 17 accounted for 4% of accused persons. So the majority age group are men who are accused of trafficking people, or persons rather, between 18 and 24 years old, 39%, and 25 to 34 years old being 36%. Well, the 36% falls right in line with the ages of the parents and their friend, Mr. Geddes, the young one. Just over 8 in 10 accused persons, 82%, were men and boys. Men accounted for a larger proportion of accused persons across all adult groups. In contrast, of the 105 youth accused, equal proportions were girls, 50%, and boys, 50%. Over half of human trafficking incidents are unsolved. Since 2013, almost 4 in 10 incidences, 38% of police reported trafficking, have resulted in the laying or recommendation of charges. Over 58% of human trafficking incidents were not solved by police. 58% are not solved. This could be due to several factors, including the incident still being under investigation, having insufficient evidence to proceed, and no accused persons having been identified. The overall increase in charges and cases in human trafficking completed in court. There were 1,184 cases involving 4,000 human trafficking charges were completed in adult criminal courts in Canada between 2013 and 2023. In general, the number of human trafficking cases seen in court has increased over this time. There's the spike. You can see that. Wow. So it's gone in the last 10 years. It's the number of cases have gone from under 100. Wow. In a 1-year span to, almost 700 here. So overall, I'm not going to read. This is a 10-page report. We're only on page 5. I'm going to wrap it up here because I'm sure we don't want to read this whole report today. But we've got, in the large majority, 84% of completed adult criminal court cases involving at least one human trafficking charge have resulted in either a stay, a withdrawal, a dismissal, or a discharge. Why? 84% of the cases going to court have resulted in withdrawal, dismissal, or discharge, with a small proportion of human trafficking cases resulted in a guilty decision, 10%, an acquittal, 4%, and another type of decision, 2%, as of being found unfit to stand trial or not criminally responsible. Here's a chart. Why? Why are there so many more acquitted charges? I mean, that is dumbfounding. How do we save our kids from this if we get more acquittals? I mean, this is scary. Okay, so I'm not gonna, these are just charts. These are charts. So we'll just go into Nova Scotia here. Let me just look at this. So Nova Scotia is the third line down. And you can see the numbers are pretty significant in comparison to, well, I mean, if we were to take a population status, the population, I mean, that would be concerning. So here we've got all the cities that break down, and Halifax is number 2 on the list. Halifax. Okay, everybody. So let's get into watching a film. What do y'all think? Do you think that it's possible that Jack and Lilly were trafficked? Do you think it's possible that they were trafficked? I'm going to just read another little thing and then we're going to be done with this chart with the reading, and then we're just going to watch some. This is on the Government of Canada website. What is human trafficking? Is also known as trafficking in persons, often described as modern-day form of slavery. It involves the recruitment, transportation, harboring, and or exercising control, direction, or influence over the movements of a person in order to exploit that person, typically through sexual exploitation or forced labor. Human trafficking is a heinous crime that exploits the most vulnerable. The victims, who are mostly women and children, are deprived of their normal lives and compelled to provide labor or sexual services through a variety of coercive practices, often for the direct profit of their perpetrators. Human trafficking is an offense under the Criminal Code of Canada and the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. The extent of human trafficking, both in Canada and internationally, is difficult to assess due to the hidden nature of the crime. The reluctance of victims and witnesses to come forward to law enforcement, and the difficulty of identifying victims. We know that everybody can fall victim to this crime, although women and girls represent the majority of victims in Canada. Those who are at risk also include Indigenous women and girls. Well, we know these children have an Indigenous background. Migrants and new immigrants, 2 SLGBTQI persons, children and youth in the child welfare system, and those who are socially or economically disadvantaged, which applies to these children in this case. Migrant workers may be particularly vulnerable to exploitation and abuse due to many factors such as language barriers, working in isolation, remote areas, lack of access to services and support, and lack of access to accurate information about their rights. The difference between human trafficking and human smuggling. Human trafficking and human smuggling are often confused, but are two different crimes. What is the difference? Human smuggling is by nature a transnational crime, whereas trafficking in persons is not. Human trafficking often happens within a country's own borders. Human smuggling generally involves the consent of a person smuggled. Trafficked persons have either never consented or their consent hasn't been rendered meaningless by the trafficker's exploitive conduct. Smuggled persons are generally free to do what they want once they arrive at their country of destination. In contrast, trafficked persons have their liberties curtailed and are forced to provide their labor or service. The sources of human smuggling is the fee associated with the smuggling act. In trafficking cases, profits are made through the exploitation of the victims. Despite these differences, smuggled persons may become trafficking victims either during travel or once they arrive at their destination. It is therefore critically important to be able to distinguish between these two crimes. Statistics, we're going to just recap this and then we're going to watch some videos. Statistics on human trafficking. Canada has been identified as a source, destination, and transit country for victims of human trafficking for the purposes of sexual exploitation and forced labor. Statistic Canada reports this the same time period between 2013 to 2023. Just over 4,500 incidences of human trafficking have been reported to police services in Canada. But we also just learned that a majority are not reported. So these numbers are way, way down. No, I'm closer that they got they got into Daniel's stuff. You think? Yeah, I mean, it could be, y'all. It could be. But I mean, this is a distinct possibility. So let's get into watching a few videos here. Because I knew it existed. I don't know if I was naive into thinking that it wouldn't happen. You know, that Canada, to see Canada so prolific in this.
CTV News begins it.
And with the area in question where these kids come from being so high up in the numbers is also concerning, right? So good morning, kitty. Good morning, honey. Okay, so let's watch this first video here. It's we're going to watch a bunch of videos now. I just wanted to read the stats for you. And again, there's so many more on YouTube, but they're documentaries, so they can't be played, but you're welcome to go and look.
An in-depth look into something many people don't even realize is happening in their own communities. It's an often hidden crime that targets primarily teens and young adults right across our province. But victims' voices are rarely heard.
This is
Their
from
stories
BC.
seldom told. CTV's Michelle Bernaro spent months investigating human trafficking, a project made possible with funding provided by the Lieutenant Governor's BC Journalism Fellowship in partnership with Government House Foundation and the Jack Webster Foundation. Here now is part one of Hidden in Plain Sight, Human Trafficking and the BC Connection.
From our cities to the suburbs, into the northern stretches of our province.
Really is a very heinous crime.
And in fact, right across the country.
It's growing exponentially.
There is an evil shrouded in the dark shadows of society that even experts say no one truly knows the scope of.
I think what we're seeing in the communities that we're in is just the tip of the iceberg.
It's a huge problem, and it's in every community, and people just don't know.
Sex trafficking, say those who work with victims, is a growing crisis in BC.
I would say in the past year, we've engaged on at least 50 trafficking cases involving teenage girls.
Some of the victims are as young as 11, children abused and left traumatized.
The girls that we're talking about have experienced unspeakable violence at the hands of their traffickers and the people who are exploiting them.
Those that perpetrate this crime, it is about money and power and control.
Traffickers are sometimes relatives, sometimes gangsters, always master manipulators, like the man who trafficked this young survivor who has Indigenous heritage. We are only identifying her as Jade.
Looking back, I would definitely call it manipulative.
Just 15 at the time, she says she was in ministry care but living on the streets.
I just freak out. Sometimes it's like flashbacks where I'm back in those moments, in those disgusting situations.
Her trafficker was a man 7 years her senior. She thought he was her boyfriend and protector, but instead he sold her at homeless encampments, often in the Fraser Valley, trading her for drugs or a place to sleep at night. When there was cash involved, he always kept it.
It never went to me. I never saw a penny of it afterwards.
Now clean and sober and living in northern BC, she wonders why more isn't being done to protect girls like herself.
We learn about gangs in school. Why can't we learn about human trafficking?
Jade's age and circumstances made her one of those most often targeted by traffickers.
Children in care are by far the most vulnerable and disproportionate population of children who are trafficked for a variety of reasons. I think it goes without saying that the state is a terrible guardian for children who are in care.
When it comes to trafficking, we know
Wow. The state is a horrible guardian. Jane Doe, I don't remember that. That is horrible. You're saying you remember years ago hearing about women and kids screaming from shipping containers in BC and the RCMP and shipping personnel ignoring it. That is horrible. Yeah, I know, honey. I know. It's just this whole thing is just it's sickening. And it's like I don't know. Like I do want to say, I probably shouldn't say this, but one of the police officers that I spoke to from the RCMP over Jack and Lilly did say to me they have no idea, and that was a week and a half ago. So I don't think that he meant to say that. Um, I think that was slippage, if you will. So I'm not really very sure that the RCMP are close to solving this. I don't know.
some victims come here from overseas, but by far the vast majority are Canadian born. The average annual profit to a trafficker from a single victim, $280,000.
What we generally see are women moving from place to place with the offender and hitting different locations on a cross-country tour.
They certainly can be moved across the country, but we've actually had quite a number of cases where the victims have continued to live at home. These are young victims.
According to Stats Canada, about a quarter of police reported human trafficking cases nationwide involve children, but Brown says many trafficking cases go unreported.
There's not a single survivor that I know that is going to come forward in the current context because they don't trust that anybody's going to keep them safe, and I do not blame them.
And that, she says, has got to change.
Oh my God. I mean, isn't that a statement? Welcome in, Vicky. Welcome in, Vicky. Isn't that a statement that they do not trust that they're going to be kept and protected? This reporting, this article, this newscast reporting we're listening to is 10 months old. It's not years ago. Welcome in, Marie Curie. This is not years ago. This is a 10-month-old video. This is sad.
Victims like Jade can find justice.
And Michelle joins us now. And Michelle, I appreciate how you clarified that human trafficking isn't just about moving people from one location to another. It's really about the coercion and the exploitation. So what made you want to do this investigation?
Yeah, you know me, Jung. I've been reporting for decades, and I've often been moved by the stories of vulnerable children and now how they can be prone to abuse and exploitation. So honestly, this is something that's been weighing heavily on my heart for a very long time. I really wanted to dig deeper into this very complex, very disturbing issue. It was an eye-opener for me as I researched this over many months. I don't think that I really realized just how prevalent this crime is.
Yeah, me neither. Like I said, I've been reporting it. Welcome in, Dragonfly. Welcome in, honey. I've been researching it for my book, and I told you I discussed a few things with my daughter about this case because she's a nurse at CHEO, a charge nurse. She ran the ER there for a long time, and she still works in ER part-time. She runs a clinic there now. But I can't say too much. Let me just say, she's exposed to this now, in a different way. And, if we're talking older, like teenagers, the psychological, it's the way my daughter explained it. Now we're not talking Jack and Lily's age here, although it starts here. That the young teenagers are so afraid of the pimp or whoever's trafficked them and terrorized, but they're brainwashed. It's like they're in this cult, what's that? I know, Vicky. I get it. I get it so badly. Like me too. I don't understand either why they can't do that, at this point in time, at the very least. They've admitted to being irresponsible. I don't understand it either. But I don't know. There's stories I've heard of the government system being involved in taking these kids. We looked at that with Sebastian Rogers. So I'm not sure how deep and sinister it gets here. And I don't want to go down that little rabbit hole today. Bikers were down a couple days before Jack and Lilly. Oh, no way. I didn't hear that, Dragonfly. I didn't hear that. So, but going back to what I was saying about my daughter is these kids are brainwashed. It's like they don't know anything any differently, and they're brainwashed and terrified, and they become brainwashed into believing that they don't deserve better, that they're never going to be free of this. It's like they literally are rewired. Their thinking, their brains are completely rewired in this traumatic experience, keeping them from reporting it for fear, thinking they don't deserve any better, you know? Yeah, there's so many signs of neglect. Exactly. So it's really concerning. So let's watch another video here. This one's longer. This one's going to really affect anybody Canadian here. This is something I had heard as
So at 13 years
hold
old,
on.
I had a
I had heard of this. I had heard of this as a child in Canada about the late Mr. Trudeau, Justin Trudeau's dad. And yeah, this woman comes out to say she was trafficked by the ex Prime Minister of Canada. Listen to this. This ought to really upset you.
At the time.
Yeah.
Okay. And who's there? Some of the names that you're saying. Who's there at this
Well,
party?
okay, I know you really want to hear names, and I really don't like to focus so much on the names, but Eddie Arnold was an American perpetrator that was there, and Eddie Arnold was, yeah. So Eddie Arnold was somebody who really, really, really wanted to belong to the club. And I don't know how people got in there. There's some of them are coming in through masonry. Some of them are coming in other ways because they get famous and then they get lured in. But he just really wanted to belong.
Now, when you say belong to the club, meaning just to be there.
Power.
But was he?
It's power.
But not abusing kids. You're not.
No, he abused me. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he abused me. That week. So there was an entire week, and I was basically given to a lot of men there. Meanwhile, horrible things were happening.
Songs.
Yeah. Meanwhile, lots of horrible things were happening.
This guy sings Christmas songs, he's saying. She wrote a book called Quest for Love. And the title of this video is Justin Trudeau's father, the guy dating Katy Perry right now, his father. And I heard rumors of this growing up in Ottawa, the capital where they lived as the prime minister, where Justin Trudeau lived and grew up, where his dad was the prime minister of Canada. There's all kinds of affairs that his mom was having an affair with the Rolling Stones, that mom at the time. I mean, my dad talked about this. And my dad was the lawyer for the police at one point, that she was known, his mom, to be a drug addict and having affairs. And there was some sick stuff going on at this home. And these were rumors I heard as a child. So to find this video a couple of days ago, I was like, dumb, like, wow.
Rituals happening. It was like the only thing I can compare it to is maybe like I think of a Dionysian orgy. Have you ever read the books of Mary Renaud? Mary Renaud? Okay. She has described once, and I don't even remember which book, but she described a Dionysian orgy, and it was like I was back.
Yes, she did.
It goes on for days and days. And
But you see, if I look online, there's literally nothing online about accusations about Eddie Arnold.
Can you say? You're not going to probably, I know a lot of survivors of David Rockefeller, but I don't think you're going to find
Thank you,
any
Michelle.
accusation
Thank
online
you.
about David Rockefeller. It's all about cover up. It was very, very good. All the investment, all the money goes, I mean, not all the money, but it goes a lot to the image.
You gave a couple other names to me earlier. I don't want to say it until you're comfortable. One of the names was another famous politician from the West.
Yeah.
How did you meet him?
He was also there that week.
He was also there that week.
Yeah, Pierre Trudeau.
And what was the interaction with you?
Trudeau. She just named him.
Scary.
Was his wife also involved?
Listen to this. This is
I didn't see his
disturbing.
wife, or I don't know. I didn't see anybody else but him.
But you vividly remember him. And when did you know it was him later on? Because at the time you're 9, 10 years old.
Yeah, again, this came much, much later. I don't remember exactly when I realized that it was him.
You don't remember when he came to you later that it was Pierre?
No.
Justin Trudeau's father, right? That's
Yes.
who you're talking about.
Yes.
And I mean, you've never mentioned his name before,
No.
right? Trudeau. What was that relationship like, or the experience like? Was it a one-day thing? Was it a repetitive that happened?
All right, I'll tell you something. David Rockefeller had me trained as a spy. So I was a sex slave, of course, and I was an elite sex slave now. And I was trained as a spy through the mind control training. And so that week, I was sleeping with men, and then I would go report on their weaknesses or their sexual preferences to David Rockefeller.
Why did he need that information? Is that how to blackmail and use it later on in negotiation?
For example. Or if he knows what they want, then he can give it to them sexually. So about Trudeau, I said
Thank you. I found another one too.
that
Thank you.
I could never please him as long as I was alive. That's how scary that was.
You could never please him?
If I was alive.
With Trudeau.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
It means that he couldn't kill me because at that point I was not a throwaway child, and he scared me enough so that I then tell Rockefeller that that's what he wants, a child to kill. Then you understand that the next time.
Do you hear that? She meets Trudeau's father. Michelle, I found it. I found another one too. Thank you, honey. And tells Rockefeller that he wants a child to kill. I mean, this is as sick as it gets.
And if he wants to use that, he can use it. He can use that information.
Rockefeller.
Mm-hmm.
So how many of these celebrities did abuse you during that specific event that you were at for you to come back and report to David?
Oh, God, I don't even remember. I was very busy. And at that time, and, I want to specify that when I was in Belgium, I always had a distance from the perpetrators, and I always knew that they were wrong and that I, was a human being, and that they, even though they treated me like nothing, that I actually, wasn't worth being treated that way. I knew that. When I was mind control trained, which is based on science, it's horrendous science from, probably related to some of the experiments that were done in the camps. And I know it's extremely, when I went into the mind control training, there was no guessing, there was no experimentation. It was just done very precisely to get the result that they wanted, so that I'm a high functioning machine for their purposes.
No.
And I did not at that time have the distance to understand that I didn't want that anymore. I thought now, at age 9, I believed that I was this persona.
See?
And that I was doing this. I would have called it abuse. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, you become immune to it. It's like mobster that killed somebody so many times, if you watch an interview with Richard Kuklinski, I think Richard, what's his last name, Rob? I think I'm saying it right. Iceman. And you see him in interviews when he's killing people. It's no longer a
Well, that's the network. In the network, this happens. And,
Right,
when you go to
Kuklinski.
any gang, you have these
Right.
little kids that get pulled in, and
Right.
it's either kill or die.
Sure.
And then, so they get pulled in that way. And it's the same in the network, with violence and pedophilia.
Hmm. But let me stay on this with you here. So you then gave me a name. You said a woman. You didn't give me a name. You said a woman who would be seen as very innocent, because most of the time when we're thinking about this, you're thinking about man. Was this woman also at the same event?
Yes.
She would have to be in her 80s and 90s today.
Mm-hmm.
Politically related or business?
Nope. Celebrity that I told you, no one would believe. No one would believe it.
So I actually took the time to Google the celebrities that are in their 80s or 90s. Hey, YouTuber, welcome in, that are between this age category. And there's only a handful of female celebrities that are in their 80s or 90s that you would never guess. Let me just to show you. Celebrities in their 80s or 90s, female celebrities. I'll show you what comes up. Let's see what comes up. These fires we have to take out while they are doing all these sick things. Did you see the interview? No, I didn't. It's funny because Epstein she said she is from the UK, right, Liane? The females, did she? I didn't see that, but let's just look up. I'm just going to read to you the names. I don't want to have to take this off the screen because, but we've got celebrities in their 90s. Eva Marie Saint, Sophia Loren, Shirley MacLaine, Angela Lansbury, Cloris Leachman. Celebrities in their 80s. Judi Dench, Jane Fonda. I'm leaning on Lily Tomlin, Julie Christie, and Carol Burnett. I don't know. Were they born in the UK? From the UK? Let me add that. Females in their celebrities in their 80s or 90s, born in the UK. Born in the UK. Let's see what we get. Okay. Joan Collins. Well, that one I actually believe. So sadly. Judi Dench. Prunella Scales. Julie Andrews. That'd be another one. Vanessa Redgrave. Julie Christie. Helen Mirren. That might be another one. Eileen Atkins. I mean, out of this list, I'm going to go Joan Collins. I just said celebrities, female celebrities. Anne Murray. It could be Kitty. It could be. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Let's just keep listening because we got more. I got another one I pulled up from her. Thank you, Wendy, for that.
What? And this was in 73. That's 51 years. No, 70. Yeah, 51 years ago.
Yeah.
That nobody would believe.
Nobody would believe today. No.
And what
Such an icon. This is it. We all have icons, right? We all have people that we look up to. And every icon that I had personally, people I never saw in the network, because I was only there for 5 years. You have to understand that's a short time. I worked with people that were in much longer, that were born into it, that were in much longer. Every icon that I've had, almost every icon, I have had to let go of. Because I found out from somebody that I'm working with, completely private healing work that we do together. I really wish that we could talk more about the healing because I feel like, I feel like we're talking a lot about names, and the healing is so important. That is, I think the reason that I can speak is because I've healed so much, and I understand things that most people don't understand. And I like to speak about those things, like how that really works and everything in the mind, because I was being trained to become like them, and then I chose not to.
You're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but the last 13 and a half years, I've been working on my first involved.
Okay. So that's the end of that. Let's watch the next one. I pulled up the one from her on the TEDx, and then I've got a couple more that I'd already pulled up rather. So this is her giving a TEDx talk. Kitty, are you seeing Anne Murray's from England? Yeah, could be her too, honey. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's sad. So let's listen to this. This is the same woman giving a TEDx talk. And then I got a couple other videos here we're going to watch.
I'm from Belgium, but in my late teens, I escaped from there. And I ran off to France.
Okay, so that's a good one too.
Then I went west, went to England first. Then I went to New York. Then I escaped further to the west coast of the United States, landed in Los Angeles. And after a few years there, I was getting antsy and I wanted to escape again. And I realized if I was going to go any farther west, I was going to end up in the Far East. So the journey outward, the escape, was over. And I realized I have to go in. I have to face myself. So I began a journey that lasted 30 years. That was an absolutely epic journey, facing dark death around every corner, confronted with large crevices that I had to jump into and know that something greater than my little ego was there to catch me. At times, I felt the pain of all the world. But after 30 years, I came out victorious. I was able to just be me. I was lucky to have a sense of what that might mean. Me. As a baby, I was raised by a psychopathic mother. And, you know, we're all born the same. We're completely cute, innocent, sweet. And we need that reflection of ourselves as little human beings to live. And I was not receiving that from my mother, but there was a caretaker who did give me that. And I remember very strongly, she wrapped me against her body with makeshift wraps. It was before we all held our babies in front of us. Taking care of the other babies, but holding me and feeling what it felt like to just be me. Now, she was there in the first 3 years. My mother then sold me when I was 6 to a group of psychopaths.
Lily's age, right? Lily's age. 6.
They were very well organized psychopaths. They were not just in Belgium, there were men from all over the world. And I found out much later that many of these men had very visible places on the world stage. They were world leaders, politicians, leaders of countries. And then there were those who controlled the world leaders together in this club. And they performed there the darkest things imaginable.
Leaders in the world.
And
Leaders.
I experienced and witnessed this from the age of 6 to 11, when I was rescued from someone from the inside. Today, I work in jails and prisons in New York, where I now live, and I have an organization called Liberation Prison Yoga. I can relate to everyone because incarcerated people tend to be traumatized just where they are, and they often also have a lot of trauma in their past, often of the same degree of violence that I survived, without the privilege that I had to spend 30 years focusing just on healing. And then I also relate to people who come to train with me, to go into the prisons with me. And when I started to share my story in 2013, when I came to the end of that 30-year period, I was interviewed and then I started to speak. However, today is the first time I'm back in Europe speaking about this. What we create with Liberation Prison Yoga is an example of what the world could be like perhaps here today, where all of us really want to change the world for the better. Now, we are in the atomic age. We've already moved on into spiritual practices, and most of us know that we are not just this finite body, that we have these inner journeys, and those are very real. But somehow, the world seems to be more chaotic and darker than ever. So, who's going to win? The light or the dark? Light is consciousness. So, we need awareness. Awareness of the reality of the darkness, that this world is ruled by psychopaths. And I think generally we don't really know what psychopaths are, and we can't really recognize them. You know, one way to tell? Someone who seems too good to be true. Whether it's in your love relationships or whether it's in politics, it's someone who plays at being human and makes it seem so simple and usually appears like a better version of ourselves, where we, with all these messy feelings, feel we want to emulate them and be more like that. Whether it's celebrities.
I know I talk about this a lot. I've talked about this in my coaching, is we are conditioned to believe that people in power or actresses or celebrities are people to put up on a pedestal, because that's the way the media portrays these people. And truly, we've put the people up on the pedestals that are not worthy of it.
Or whomever we put at the top of this top-down model. This top-down model is a trauma-based model. At the top are the psychopaths, the sickest people, and at the bottom are the vulnerable populations, the prisoners, the poor. And then in the middle are most of us who are absolutely traumatized by this system, and at the same time maybe seek to do good in the world. So the best way to find the monster is to go within. About psychopaths is, I was talking about the little baby before. Well, the psychopath is a person who didn't get to experience that innocence because their caregivers were already projecting, so there was no reflection of themselves as that innocent, cute little baby, which, as it were, banned them from themselves, because it is feeling that makes us human. It is feeling that leads to consciousness. And it is my journey through feeling that has made me increasingly aware of myself, and as a result, in reflection, aware of what's outside as well.
It's so interesting because I've never heard this before, that she talks about spirituality and feeling the feelings. Those are things that I also really believe in. Like, people who are suffering and just trying to cope with their everyday life, that could be voices to this, you know, just don't want to think about it because it's too painful, right? We don't want to feel into this. Moose, I don't know what all the question marks are about. Do you want to elaborate what you're asking?
And I don't think any of us truly escape, because the model in which we live itself makes it really impossible for parents to be unconditionally present for their children. And the younger the child, The more everything is life and death. So if you're told by the doctor you need to let your
Okay, so I'm going to stop this because I just got a copyright strike notice for streaming. Go figure. Welcome to YouTube. Another YouTube video. Streaming interrupted when copyright content is detected. Are you guys still with me? Can you guys still hear me? Mm. Let me go see what's going on here. Can you guys hear me? Because I can still see 30 of you. Yeah. So I guess we're going to, I'm back. Okay. You know, you gotta love YouTube. I'm reading publicly available information on Stats Canada, right? That's what I've done so far. I've read publicly available information on Stats Canada. I showed you a news report from a news station. I am now showing you other YouTube videos without breaking copyright laws. I'm giving them full credit. Like YouTube, like they sent me, when you guys disappeared, they sent me a copyright strike. So I haven't been suspended yet, but you know, you get 3 strikes and you're out. The first strike was during another live, and I had preloaded the title like we are today. And all I talked about was how the CIA trains psychics, and boof, the live went cold, copyright strike. And this one too. I have done nothing wrong, YouTube. I am sick of this baloney. I am reading public information from Stats Canada, showing a news report and showing other interviews and films on YouTube that are copyright allowed. Yeah, obviously somebody has. Yeah, I know, Kitty, I'm getting your text, touchy subject, but all I'm doing is showing other videos. They're not stricken down. If it's a touchy subject, why is it that you can look up right now this topic on YouTube and find dozens and dozens of videos that I'm getting stricken down? Why? It's disgusting. And this is how they take your channel away. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's but then how do other people like Value Entertainment, who has the $6 million followers, 6 million followers, not dollars, gets away with doing an interview? He's not stricken down. This woman's doing her own interview on TED Talks. That's allowed. Like, make it make sense. Do you need to? Well, that's what I do, Vicky. That's why I talk so much. That's why I talk so much. Then everybody's like, stop talking so much. You have to. Those are the rules. I change up the speed of the video I'm showing. You guys sometimes complain it's too fast. I have no choice. I have to change the video speed. I have to give credit to the video I'm showing. I have to interrupt the video to make it my own by commentary, which I do. And I do lives all the time. It's only on the touchy subjects, but these touchy subjects that I'm talking about, other people talk about also on YouTube and don't get stricken. So this is my issue with YouTube. So we won't be talking about this anymore because I cannot afford to let my channel go. I cannot afford. Let me just go to my YouTube channel and see. I'll tell you what the status is on YouTube. Yeah, somebody disliked it. I got 29 likes. One person disliked it. So that person clearly reported it. I mean, I don't understand why people show up to streams. The title, we need to be very wary of this. Yeah, I know. But it's, why are you showing up to a stream if you don't like the topic just so you can report me? Like, you don't want this topic being talked about? It's a problem with our kids. We're talking about missing kids on this channel, and this is a serious problem in this country, and somebody goes ahead and thumbs down it and probably is the person, you're right, that likely reported it. I mean, why would you show up to this stream then? Just because what, you're a pedophile and you want it not talked about? Like, make sense of it for me. Help me understand why a person would show up to my stream knowing the topic just to thumbs down it and report it. I don't get it. I know. It's just, it's wild. So I'm just trying to see the status of my channel here right now. Well, yeah, and the other one, I tried to reject it because they said you were warned. There was 0 warnings. So this one has not shown up yet as, a second violation strike. So yeah, I know, Kitty, I understand that. I get that. But again, they don't follow the same rules for everybody is my point. I mean, we just showed a news report on the topic. We just showed an interview on the topic. I'm not showing you videos outside of YouTube here. These are all videos that already exist on YouTube. Why am I stricken and they're allowed to promote their product, their topics? Why are their videos up while I'm showing their videos and I'm stricken? It makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense. Well, let me show you this because I think Jordan Geddes has been kind of threatening me. So let's just see. I'll tell you, let's switch topics. I'm going to show you some of the screenshots and what I got on the videos that I did of Jordan Geddes. And you tell me if you think this is Jordan Geddes. How's that? Now that the bitches feel emboldened. Yeah. Well, maybe somebody from yes, well, this is it, YouTuber. Your mind, your lips to my ears, as the saying goes. I'll show you on the day that I did the Geddes video. Well, in my opinion, he's the person in my vision. I've had visions. I work as a psychic medium, volunteer with the Find Me group. I had visions that I have been speaking to the RCMP about that came up to be proven by the name and everything later. So tell me if you think this looks like, here, I'm going to upload these and I want you to see all these and just tell me. These were said during the readings that I did on him. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you, Marie. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I just want to see, excuse me, if you think let me show you. I'm going to email them, try to figure, because I didn't want to do this, but I don't know, man. I think this guy's not happy with me, which is fine. I just want to tell you, somebody does not like my video on Getty's. And I just want to see if you think this is him. Yeah, Jordan treated everyone in Mike interview. He called a bunch of podcasters out by first name. It was waiting for him to yell out their home addresses next. He treated to sue as well. Yeah, I don't think he mentioned my name, did he? I didn't hear him mention anybody by name. Okay, I'm going to just show you this and you tell me if you think this is him. Now can you see the name? This is very interesting. The name, this person there, he threatened, he's threatened to sue me too. Absolutely. He's threatened to sue me too. That's why I think it's him. Whoops, hang on. Cancel. Let me zoom this in. Okay. But look at the name this person's, look at their handle name. Suspect 1. Suspect 1. If they are paying attention and hating on you means you're over the target. Yeah. Suspect 1. Can you see it? Can you see this? Suspect 1 is this handle name. Okay, so this was 26 minutes after my video went out on Getty's. 27 minutes, fraud in big letters. 27 minutes, fake news. 26 minutes, huge liar. Oh, there's more. Hold on, I'll show you more. Fake news, huge liar, liar. She is, you're going to jail. Who is your boss, lady? Your days are numbered. See that? Days numbered. Suspect 1, days numbered. Influencing cases is criminal in big letters. Suspect 1, she is. You think that might be Getty's? Hey, nice to see you. It's been a while. It's been a while. But I mean, why put your handle on as suspect 1? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it's on the Getty's video, Jordan Getty's video. So, yeah. Huge liar. Your days are numbered. That one's priceless. Where's that one? Again. Influencing, days numbered. Influencing cases is criminal. Well, I'm not influencing. We're discussing it, which is our right. Who is your boss, lady? Myself. Good luck. Good luck getting money out of me. So, yeah. So I've noticed since then that there's a dislike on some of my videos. So, yeah, Daniel, Jordan, if you're watching, you want to prove your innocence, I've offered and extended. You're more than welcome to come up on my panel. You've come up on other panels. You're not shy about giving interviews. Clearly, if I am wrong, I will apologize. Come and talk to me. Let's prove your innocence. Let's prove your innocence. But what I won't do is let you talk over me, scream at me, call me a liar. You want to be innocent with all of your inconsistent stories. You want to come and straighten out those inconsistent stories. You want to have a voice. I will be open to letting you speak here. Okay? We're entitled to our opinions, but if you want to shape our opinions in a way that doesn't threaten, well, I already reported Getty's dad, and I did block suspect 1. So yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, most of them are not very, most of them aren't threatening, but the days numbered here, the days numbered is a little concerning. Days numbered is a little concerning. No worries. Hey, no worries. It's okay. Listen, I get it. It's in bad taste. It's for the most part, I get it, Moose. I just sometimes this is incredibly difficult work. And it's just sometimes you need the leverage. And I think part of the reason that I found it so funny is that it just is so not Mike's character, He's so serious. It was just so surprising for him to do that. But you're right. It's not a funny topic. It's not a funny topic. But there's a difference between finding something that somebody does maybe not to your taste and threatening, right? There's a line that's drawn. And the whole argument that I make right here, right now, is the entire point of YouTube is to share each other's videos, to use that's the point of YouTube. They want their videos and their platforms and their topics expanding, and you're supposed to share and listen to other people's stuff. That's why they have all these tools to help you take other people's videos and transform them into your own. This is the whole point of YouTube. His dad and boxing, just stop. Oh, we all know what he was doing. We all know what he was doing with the angry interview, intimidation, Daniel, and jiu-jitsu. Like, stop now. Yeah, so anyway, whatever, but if I get any more threats like this, you're damn sure I will call the RCMP. They do know that Derwood threatened me too, and I blocked him. So, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But the thing is, I don't think this is Daniel, because Daniel's not shy about his name being out there. This is not Daniel's MO. Daniel's MO. Yeah, well, I know, Marie, I get it. But this is why YouTube is so biased and unfair. I'm not bringing in stuff and creating content that I don't know has not already passed the YouTube sniff test. This is why I was deliberate about what I was showing. So it's malarkey. It's baloney. It's malarkey. And I'm glad they have yet to tell me that they're striking my channel on this, because 3 strikes and you're out. Yeah, no, I know. Well, crime science stories, they're going silent. And this is why I think Getty's listened to me, because when I did my intuitive analysis of his interview with Mike DeMann, I said, hey, you still haven't figured out yet 2 + 2 = 4. If you guys stop coming on social media, there's nothing to talk about. We saw this in the Harrow case. The police came out and said, shut up, stop talking, and everybody shut up and stop talking, right? If the family were never on, if the family had never been on, it's a criming shame, in my opinion. We would have been done talking about this case months ago, because the only thing to talk about is the family drama, because the government, the RCMP, aren't giving us any intel. So the only thing to talk about is their shit show in the background. That's why I said, hey, Jordan, you haven't figured out 2 + 2 yet. If you and your dad and Daniel all stop talking, we have nothing to talk about. Who did he threaten, Michelle? I didn't hear that. Why did I not hear that? Whose names did he threaten? I didn't hear him. I listened to the whole interview. We did an analysis of it, but I don't remember hearing that specifically. But anyways, I thought this handle, I don't think it's Daniel. I definitely do not think it's Daniel. Thank you, Marie Curie. Thank you. I'm trying to do something different. And I knew today was going to be a risk because I know how YouTube plays the game. So I deliberately took away the documentaries and everything. And I literally chatted, GTP'd, researched the links I showed you to make sure they weren't copy strike, because documentaries are. But yeah. So it's absolutely baloney. It could have been value entertainment, but that's within, I am allowed within the rules to do what I did. So it's unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. But I just, to end here, I really don't think he called out a bunch of posts full of names. Yeah, it's true. No kidding. I just want to point this out. I really don't think it's Daniel. Daniel has never come up on a chat in disguise without his name. I find it incredibly interesting that this person's handle is suspect 1. Suspect 1 in the case that we're talking about, Jack and Lilly. This is a Getty's, I think, just my opinion. It's the young one or the older one, but the topic was over the younger one when this was posted. So, I mean, but who creates a handle? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. And he did threaten me already in a prior one. I can't even remember what that was about, but this is the 3rd threat I've received on this case. Suspect 1. Suspect 1. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so clearly the Getty's clan is following here. It could be someone in Daniel's family, but I don't believe it to be Daniel, because I don't think he's afraid to just say this is baloney with his own name, because he's said it many times. So whoever's behind this, I am allowed. YouTube is allowed. YouTube and Google are big companies, and they deliberately allow for free speech and true crime. Millions of people follow true crime, giving theories and analysis to these cases. So your threats against me for coming up with my own analysis is baloney. Well, I've already got that, Moose. I've already got that. But yeah, I've already got that. So anyways, if I continue to get threats, I am going to send this over, because the RCMP will be able to track who suspect 1 is. And if we want to talk about rights legally, threatening somebody is never allowed in the law in Canada. But my having an opinion about a case is called free speech. And so far in Canada, while the government's trying to take that away, we still have it. Interesting, Vicky. Interesting. Well, this is why I'm not so sure that the Getty's clan didn't watch my video, because I'm the only one that brought to their awareness, hey, idiots, if you stop talking, we have nothing to talk about. I'm the only one that said that to them. And lo and behold, things went silent. So I think they watched that video. I think they watched the analysis and heard me and finally put the two together. Hey, these guys are talking about us. If we stop talking, there's nothing to rumor about, you know? So I really think they are watching. Yeah, they all are. They all are. And whoever suspect one you are, which Getty's part of the Gettys or the Martel clan you're part of, may your ass rot in hell in jail. May your ass rot in hell in jail. May the guilty parties be found guilty. May justice fall on your fucking asses for neglecting these children. And I don't care whether you didn't do it deliberately, Janie, you saw it happening in your own roof, in your own house. So, suspect one, you threaten me again? I will send this to Mike Wilson at the RCMP. Okay? I will fucking send it. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Oh, gotta love YouTube. I was like so pumped up and in a great mood. I think suspect one, I'm going to pray all day that your days are numbered, because just your handle alone tells me you already know you're a suspect. And what kind of a dumbass meth head idiot who's a suspect puts their handle suspect one? I mean, what kind of a fucking no for brain jackass are you? You want to let the whole world know when you're threatening me that you're the number one suspect? What kind of a fucking dumb fucking idiot are you? You are truly a nim for nuts, brainhead, dead, meth head. I mean, yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And just so you know, I have Belinda's attorney's email address and phone number, suspect one. So you might want to fucking stop your threats now. Okay, everybody. Well, I'm sorry that this ended in a perfectly said. You know, what happened in the Sebastian case, y'all? What happened in the Sebastian case? They threatened Betty and they went to court over it, suspect one, and the court tossed it out because it's not a valid, you can't sue somebody who is covering true crime just because they don't like you and say things about you you don't like doesn't make your threats against them legal. We saw this already play out with Bullhorn Betty. So come at me and threaten me again, and we'll see whose days are numbered. Okay? Yeah. So, you know, you guys, it's much harder on YouTube than you know. You get rules like this, you get strikes, you get mean comments, you got it. Like it's, and to earn 30 cents is $1, like is unbelievably hard. And then you've got all these hiccups. It's a hard topic because you're dealing with sensitive issues and it's not all kumbaya. And so it's a hard topic emotionally. It's hard to follow it within the rules. And then, just like in Sebastian Rogers, you've got the sick effing family members who start to threaten people trying to bring attention to their missing child. Go frickin' figure. Go figure that the families involved with the missing child threaten the creators covering it. That ought to tell you everything you need to know about the family involved in this case at Missing and Jack, Lily and Jack. They're heading down. Aw, thank you, YouTuber, sweetie. Thank you, honey. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. They are heading down the same path we saw with Sebastian Rogers. The same path we saw with Sebastian Rogers, where the Cave and Navy got threatened and had to leave. Just like the searchers here, please bring me home. Not quite so outrageously threatened like in the Sebastian Rogers case, but we're seeing very similar patterns play out here. Very similar patterns. The family, Vicky, thank you, honey. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I truly appreciate you. Thank you. You know, I know. Well, the other thing is, the behavioral channel experts, FBI profilers, police, they all go on and do it because it's legal, because it's legally allowed. Jeez. It's legally allowed. Yeah. It's legally allowed, whether they like it or not. Otherwise, Duty Ron and all the other people, now they're careful not to throw out accusations. And so maybe I'm going to have to be more careful with my opinions. But I mean, listen, there's a lot of them. Police under the cuff, Duty Ron, Strategic Eyes, and they are not shy, Strategic Eyes. And he's an active New York police officer, as far as I'm aware, he's in New York. They are not shy about their opinions or reporting the cases, and they're in the law. They know it's legal. So, yeah. So if I get another one of these, I will be reporting it to the RCMP. Absolutely. Anyways, everybody, sorry for the change in plans, but I will figure out what we're going to cover. I wanted this shows you're doing an excellent job, Liane. Thank you. They don't like what you're finding. Yeah, probably. Probably. So let's meet tomorrow afternoon. In the afternoon, I was going to cover Dylan Ethler and Jack and Lilly and see if there's any similarities between those two cases. Since you don't run the risk of being copyright stricken, just Google trafficking. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. And thank you to everybody for being here. And we'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Love and light.